What does Taika Waititi do? I ask myself that every day. What am I doing?
Thor Love and Thunder is a deceptive movie. It's one of those movies that on the surface seems to be passably written. Whenever there's an explanation required for something, we're given an explanation. How did Jane become Mighty Thor? Mjolnir called to her when she was suffering cancer. Why did Mjolnir do that? Because Thor druggedly told it to protect her when they were in a relationship. Makes sense, right? Why would Mjolnir wait until after Jane got cancer to summon her? Why would Jane's protection be what makes Mjolnir fix itself and not anything else? Why does Jane even have cancer? Yes, seriously, the MCU world now has nanotech, hologram shields, and vibranium. Why the fuck did the doctors not cure her cancer? At this point, what's not to say about this movie? Well, there is the fact that I found it enjoyable. I used to unironically think The Last Jedi was a masterpiece, and I fucking love it. Hear me out. I have to admit, this is one of my more riskier reviews. I actually kinda liked this movie when I first saw it, even having the mindset that this was easily the best Phase 4 MCU film other than Spider-Man, even with the reputation it already had. It wasn't until I heard the reviews of others that I realized just how pathetic this film really is. That's not to say every problem completely flew over my head. The first hint of stupidity was an example of writing being too meta to make sense in the fictional universe. The Infinity Cone. An ice cream shop that rivals Hiroshima's atomic blast. A magical wishing place would have been useful in Endgame. What? Oh, so hang on. Why the hell is the key to the wishing place Stormbreaker? Stormbreaker was just made in Infinity War. Was the wishing place built around that same time? There's Thor endangering children by making them go to battles. Yeah, I don't care that they were all given superpowers. Him making them go to battle was dumb. Then there are plenty of occasions where the heroes act casual in dire situations. Like Thor and Jane gawking at each other in the middle of a village attack. Yeah, Love and Thunder is not really a good movie. It's strange. This film was made by Taika Waititi, the same dude behind Thor Ragnarok. Though not appealing to everyone, Ragnarok is generally accepted as a good film. You'd think Love and Thunder would match its quality. So the hell happened here?
Maybe Waititi only directed this film and the shitty script was written by someone else. No, he wrote this film. He had some help though. Perhaps the other dude is like studio interference or some shit. I don't know. Let's see if Waititi had any help writing Ragnarok. The fuck? He's not in there at all. Holy shit, we've been Illuminati'd!
Thor Ragnarok is not a Taika Waititi film. He simply directed it. Yes, a director plays a major role in filmmaking, but so does a writer. And if you ask me, a film is not a that guy film unless that guy is involved in both. Not to deprecate the ones that aren't. So yes, the Galaxy Guardians movies are James Gunn films, but Thor Ragnarok is not a Taika Waititi flick. Love and Thunder is. I decided to dig deeper into Waititi's filmography, and I couldn't help but notice that most of his work either had assistant writing or is based off already written works.
Well, he didn't get an Oscar for his short film, but he did get an Oscar for his feature film, Jojo Rabbit, for writing, adapting a book. Literally just ripping off a book.
The only work of his that was written completely 100% by himself seems to be Boy, a film that seems to have a relatively decent reputation. Still, this doesn't really paint Waititi in a good picture, at least to my eyes. Yeah, at best I can say he is good at storytelling, and he was just unlucky this time around. But at worst, Taika could be an overrated artist. A scumbag that capitalizes on the intelligence of actual writers, and honestly, I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think what has happened is that Thor Ragnarok was written by writers, and they needed a director to direct it. Taika saw an opportunity and took it. He would direct Ragnarok and use its success for recognition to elevate his own status from simple indie film director to one of the big boys. And it worked, for the time being. But then, Disney asked him to write the next Thor film, a task he mistakenly thought he could accomplish. Likely due to the required context of a shit ton of movies about a character that wasn't of his own, Waititi was doomed to fail. The only reason he succeeded in Ragnarok is because a script was already written for him, giving him a somewhat automatic understanding on how everything must play out, which was clearly not the case for Love Thunder. Not to say Love and Thunder is 100% garbage. Christian Bale was so good I didn't even know it was him until the end credits. I don't look up which actors will be in what. Fuck that meta shit. Okay, you know what? I think the main reason why I was originally the one creature in the world that liked this movie was the humor.
Well, let me get this straight. You think that all this awful garbage is funny?
No. Didn't even laugh once. But you see, I have a very biased taste in humor. It's really hard for me to laugh at any comedy film. Not to say I don't like watching them, I still find them enjoyable. The good ones anyway. But rarely will you hear me busting my gut, which I didn't at all do in Ragnarok, and this film. That's likely why I didn't immediately hate this movie like everyone else did. Apparently Love Thunder's humor is terrible, which was the immediate indicator to why this film is not good. But how was I supposed to know that if I'm not Jimmy Fallon to begin with? And on that note, I realized something disturbing while making the script of this video, and it's something I should warn all of you about. Be prepared for Marvel films, as well as other franchises that shit out sequels year after year, to start appealing to more audiences, even when the actual quality of that stuff doesn't improve. How? Well, my experience with Love Thunder reminded me that I don't entirely get the MCU universe. I have watched the majority of the films, but I guess I haven't really paid attention to the actual stories being told, since I didn't immediately realize Thor getting that sanctuary destroyed contradicts his arc in the first movie. Love Thunder isn't the first Marvel movie I had this experience with either. I remember thinking Black Widow was an okay movie before witnessing one of my idols rip its ass a new one. Praise the Longnoid. And this made me realize something. The original fans of the MCU may be done with it, but eventually they're gonna be dragged back into it by their kids and go, oh hey, this ain't so bad, because they forgot what made the original film so great. And I think Disney may be doing that on purpose. I think Disney is trying to appeal exclusively to a new generation of audiences. That way, they can make money without putting in work and effort to remain consistent to established rules. Just like how Star Trek is appealing towards Rick and Morty fans. That's why it is important, my dear viewers, to point out how terrible a form of art is, even if you like it. Because if you don't do so, if you conclude that a story is good simply because you enjoyed it, then the producers will keep defecating consumable sludge until society as we know it is nothing more than an army of fattened turkeys choking on a stench of maggot-infested garbage that has ensnared them. So yeah, Thor movie, really good. Can't wait for the next shit show.
Jen, you're a story now.
Now, Mr. Big Time Hotshot.
Cross the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens